If you are looking for an easy focaccia bread recipe that is also very delicious, then this video is for you. Hi, I'm Ron, and thanks for clicking on this video. And please take a moment to click the subscribe button, notification bell, like button, and leave a comment on youtube.com. This video is the first in a three-part focaccia bread video series. The next videos will be focaccia with sourdough and focaccia with pre-ferments. Although the toppings and inclusions for focaccia bread are almost endless, this first video includes rosemary and diced onions, which is the recipe I make most often. Okay then, let's begin. The complete recipe and instructions will be listed in the description below the video. The first step is to proof the yeast. I'm using active dry yeast, and so I mix warm water, sugar, and active dry yeast and let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes or until the mixture becomes frothy. If you're using instant yeast, you can skip this step and simply mix the ingredients without proofing the yeast. The active dry yeast mixture is frothy, so now I'll add the remaining ingredients, which are flour, salt, and a diced onion. I've diced an entire yellow onion, and I love the taste. You may choose only a half an onion or a third of an onion, depending upon your taste preference. I added the flour gradually, 1/3 at a time at 30-second intervals, but the amount of flour in this recipe is small enough you could add all the flour at the beginning. I added the salt with the flour. I used a KitchenAid stand mixer set on speed 2 and mixed the dough for 5 to 6 minutes until the dough pulled away from the sides of the bowl. The dough has been mixing for about 6 minutes and has pulled away nicely from the sides of the bowl. I now add the diced onion and set the mixer on speed 3 for 30 seconds to a minute. Since the onions are usually quite moist, I add a tablespoon of flour to help the diced onion mix into the dough. After the mixing is complete, I place the dough in a 2.5 quart Pyrex bowl that has been oiled with olive oil and let the dough rest until it doubles in volume, which takes about 30 minutes to an hour depending upon room temperature. Of course, you could also just leave the dough in the mixing bowl and cover with plastic wrap until it doubles in volume. To prepare the baking sheet, I apply a thin coating of olive oil. This is a half-sheet pan and is old and well seasoned, and the focaccia bread will not stick to the pan. However, if you wanted, you could place a sheet of parchment paper in the pan, then oil, then the dough. When placing the dough on the baking sheet, it's decision time. If I'm making focaccia for breadsticks, I usually spread the dough out thinly to cover the entire baking pan. If, however, I'm going to be using the focaccia bread for sandwiches, I want the bread thicker, and I don't spread it out as thinly. I then cover with olive oil, parchment paper, and let it rest until the dough has doubled in volume. The dough has rested nearly 30 minutes. It's doubled in volume and it's time for the dimples. I add a pinch more olive oil and using my middle three fingers, I push through the dough and press firmly on the baking sheet. Off camera, I sprinkled half the dough with rosemary and kosher salt and left half without the additional seasoning. Then placed the baking sheet in a 400-degree oven for 20 minutes, rotating the baking sheet after 10 minutes. In this picture, you can see the rosemary on the right side of the pan, while the left side has none. I did this because I like focaccia bread with rosemary and kosher salt, and my wife likes focaccia bread without additional seasoning. When baking focaccia bread for breadsticks, I bake the bread a little longer than when I'm baking focaccia bread for sandwiches. I do this because I like a little softer bread on my sandwich and a little more crunch on my breadsticks. The bread is finished baking, and isn't it beautiful? And I guarantee you, it is very delicious. I like to cut the bread down the middle, then small slices for breadsticks, and wider slices for sandwich bread. As breadsticks, focaccia goes well with your favorite marinara sauce, or with olive oil, and balsamic vinegar, or simply eating them plain. Now let me demonstrate focaccia as a sandwich bread. As before with the breadsticks, I begin with a slice down the middle, then larger slices for sandwiches. One of life's culinary pleasures is a bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwich on focaccia bread, or the vegetarian version without the bacon. However, today I have neither a tomato or bacon in the house, but I do have some frozen chicken tenders, which I popped in the microwave after slicing the focaccia bread in half. And some pickled onions, and some banana peppers, and a drizzle of zesty Italian dressing. Oops, I forgot the lettuce. This sandwich is going to be delicious. Thanks again for watching this video, and make it a great day.